Good evening, everybody. Awesome to see all of you tonight. I see so we still have some more people joining us at the same time. Let me know if you would in the chat if you can hear me okay. Let me know. All right, Bill and Kim, all the way out in California. Thank you very much. Good to see you on tonight. Cheryl, good to see you. Maria, Bruce, Clarence, Daryl. Awesome to see you on tonight, Daryl. And Helen and Bucky. And I see we have some more people coming in, which is great. And let me see, I'm going to shoot on over to our YouTube stream. And I see we have a couple people over here as well. Maria, good to see you on there. And I see we have some others. Jump in the chat, say hi. Well, listen, I'm excited to be here with you tonight. If you're a guest tonight, maybe you're sitting here with one of our business owners here this evening, or you are tuning in through a link that you got from a friend of yours online. You might be saying to yourself, all right, so what's this all about? What is this business that I'm here to check out? And before I throw the slide deck up and introduce our guest speakers this evening, let me give you a quick background about myself. My name's Ken. My wife Jennifer and I have been building this business on a full-time basis for many years. We're still really passionate about it. This is what makes our life work. This allows us to, what you're going to see this evening, to live on our own terms, and it has been quite a ride. It's a fascinating business model, and something I think that you're going to find very interesting. And the person that invited you thought enough about you to send you this link, to let you tune in, check it out, so they could follow up with you later, and you could take a look at if this is a good fit for you. So what I would ask you to do is kind of let go of everything that you've had going on in your day, and to kind of tune in and just kind of think about this as a way to turn some extra money, and to maybe give you some more options in life, which is really what so many of us have been looking for, and is what brought us to a business like this. So the couple that I'm going to introduce are actually coming to us from Pennsylvania. Pete and Allison Nicholson are great business owners and have an interesting background, I think. Both of them come from, I guess you would say, in the beginning, after high school and all that type of stuff, and in their college years, kind of a background in athletics. That was where some of their interest was, and then got involved in teaching. And I want to be a little bit vague because I want them to be able to share about themselves. So Pete and Allison, maybe you could jump on camera and we'll get this started.
Hey Ken, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Good to see you guys tonight.
Awesome, great to see you
too. Thanks for inviting us. We're really excited to do this, especially share together and have you on screen with us, Ken. So this is going to be awesome.
Yeah, this will be fun. So nobody else here knows tonight. The three of us were talking and last week, and talking a little bit, or maybe it was the week before, I don't remember now, and talking a little bit about, hey, why don't we kind of do this together? So it'd be fun, just something a little bit different, as opposed to just going through the slides together. So I'll put the slides up. Maybe you guys could share a little bit about your background.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited to try something a little bit new, and we'll see how it goes, right? There's a first time for everything, so we'll see. We haven't presented like this before, but we're excited to try it out. So thank you, Ken, for the introduction. Great to see everybody out there in the attendee list. Some really familiar names, so it's great to see everybody. Hope everybody's doing really well. As Ken said, we're Pete and Allison Nicholson. I'll talk a little bit about myself first, and then I'll hand it over to Allison. But as Ken said, background in actually both of us in what's called exercise and sports science. So we went to college for that. Allison went kind of more the coaching route. I was coaching and teaching health and phys ed for a number of years. And then that kind of morphed for me into school district administration. So I was an assistant principal for a number of years at both middle level and the high school level. And then for the last few years, I've been a high school principal, actually at one of the largest high schools in Pennsylvania. For some other states in the United States, it's really not that big. There are much bigger high schools. But for the state of Pennsylvania, we're actually the largest graduating class, with only 10th through 12th grade at the high school. Which brings me to this year. I'm in a new position this year where I'm actually overseeing all of secondary education within our district. And we're looking to add on to the high school to bring 9th grade to the high school, which would officially make our high school the largest in Pennsylvania. We'd have about 4,100 students at the high school level. So that project is coming up, having lots of meetings on that and presenting to the board and doing all the fun things to get a large scale renovation and addition to the district at both the high school and the middle school. So that's currently what I'm doing. So going from a health and phys ed teacher and a coach to working on, multi-million dollar projects, but life takes you in strange places sometimes. So that's a little bit about me, and I'll let Allison introduce herself.
So I'm blessed. I get to be a stay-at-home mom. That's my first and biggest job. We have 2 boys, aged 10 and 12. And before we had our children, I actually worked in development or advancement, which is basically, they're just fancy words for fundraising. I also had the privilege to be able to coach for many years at the high school level, which was awesome. But now it's pretty cool because I get to volunteer a lot at our kids' school and work with something that I'm passionate about, which is fundraising. So all that to say that Pete and I have, we're pretty busy, but we have the ability to come together and build a business together. And that's what we're going to talk about here tonight. We're going to talk about how to live on your terms. And, most of us today in our professions or whatever, we don't get to call the shots. And now more than ever, and it's just become pretty clear over the past couple of years that people want to be more independent. They want to be able to make those decisions, as do specifically how long they want to work, how long they want their commute to be. And that's basically what we're seeing. I mean, more than ever, people are working from home in professions that we never thought people would be able to work from home doing.
Can I jump in? I tell
Yeah.
you, I think that, all of us see that right now.
Yeah.
Now you see it and you hear about it in just, if you're reading a paper, if you look at headlines, if you read different articles, it seems like I'm always getting something pushed to me. And then I see it anecdotally in real life. Like I'm married. Some of you know I have 2 boys. Jen and I have 2 boys, and they're both married. And one of them, my oldest, lives in Dallas, and he's been home the last couple of days because they had a terrible ice storm, and so they're all of the basically the city shut down, and everybody that could work remote does. Or has been over the last few days. But for them, it was kind of an extension of what they've been doing. And it's really kind of a job perk for them. They want that. It's almost like people today are even looking, when they look at future employment, they're asking those questions. Hey, do I have any flex time? Do I have to come in 5 days a week? And a lot of times it's not just about pay, but the employer is saying to them, well, listen, we have a policy where you only have to come in Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Mondays and Fridays are off, or Mondays are off, or whatever. So I think it plays right into what you're saying, Allison. You know what? Independence is the new standard. People are looking for something a little bit different today.
Yeah, absolutely. Even in education, I will say, not so much for the teacher in the classroom, not so much for the custodians and the people that have to be there on a daily basis, but secretarial staff and a couple of the secretaries that are right outside of my current office. They work in the building maybe 2-3 days a week, and there have absolutely been conversations about new hires. Do I have to be there 5 days a week? Can I work from home? And it plays right into this, where people want to be able to control the shots, and now more than ever, There are these barriers that have been torn down. We saw during the pandemic that all kinds of work could be done remotely, and that nothing really suffered from that. But what we've also seen is people also don't want 40-hour work weeks anymore. They don't want 60-hour work weeks anymore. They want to work from anywhere. They want to be able to, not be, beholden to their employer, and they really want to do something different. They want to, start a side hustle. They want to do something on the side where they get to call the shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. And you can see it everywhere, right? Just like the slide here says, people are freelancing more than ever, whether it's doing something with rideshare or professional services. You even hear about physicians that are working part-time almost as consultants now, where they are working, a couple days a week instead of a normal office hours, or some people are just doing telehealth, and that is their profession as opposed to working, normal type work. I think part of this new economy that we're seeing is that, work is work. And, most of us would say most people are not paid what they're worth. They're paid what their boss can afford to pay them, or that the salary is given to the position based on whatever the allocations are from their company or a school district or whatever it is. The pay is the pay, and it's not enough. So many people are saying to themselves, well, I'd like a little more flexibility, but the reality is I need to try some other stuff, because in addition to that, because the reason side hustles have never been more popular is because people are looking for ways to make some more money.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You brought up and you mentioned side hustle, and when I think about that, I think about this, right? Like, you hear side hustle and you always, hear the side, but you don't realize just what the hustle is until you're there, right? Until you're in it, until you're always, on the road. Because let's face it, when do people want the ride share? They don't want the ride share from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. They want the ride share after work on Friday, when maybe they've gone out with some friends
Yes.
to that happy hour get together, or they want it after the I'll plug the NFC Championship game, since we're in Pennsylvania and we're Eagles fans.
Yes. Oh my
They want
goodness.
that ride home after the game. Why? I don't want to drive then. I don't want to be on the road then. People want to have this vacation home for rent. Well, 4th of July weekend, I'd be in my vacation home. I don't want it rented to someone else, right? So
Right.
the hustle part is downplayed here, and the having to house clean and all these things that are here. But it really kind of all starts with the independence equation. So,
Right.
if you want to talk to that just a minute.
Yeah, sure. So it all starts here, right? So you have a desire for more, which obviously if you're on this tonight, you're watching this, like, you have a desire for something more than what you've got going on, whether it's, a couple $100 extra a month, to kind of cover the rising cost of food or just items in general. So we have that going on. And then there's an opportunity, which is what we're talking about. And then you throw some skin in the game. And no matter what the opportunity is, there's always skin in the game. You got to put something, you got to give up something. You got to put something into it. And, that's what we call the independence equation. And, like Pete said, let me just jump back to this one real quick. Often in these side hustles, they, emphasize the side, but downplay the hustle. So what happens then is it becomes very hard to sustain. Because I think when a lot of people start these side hustles, you're fired up, you're excited, it's like, yeah, couple extra hours every day, I can do that. But how long can you sustain that? 6 months into it, if you're not making much more money than you were when you started, and you're putting all this extra time and not with your family, what's going to end up happening is that people just get burnt out. And that's generally what happens. People get really excited at the beginning with side hustles, and then, kind of teeter out a little bit, and then maybe move to something else.
And you know what I think that is partly, Allison, is that Um, it's because of what you got right here. It's that most side businesses, it ends up being on their terms, not yours.
Yeah.
Whether it's working for somebody else for a couple hours, a week, or a month, or a day, whatever it is, or it's doing a service where the customer, like you said, Pete, needs that ride, or wants that food delivered, or wants that house ready, whatever it is, and they need it when it's convenient for them. And if you're a service oriented business, of course, the whole world's going to revolve around that, because that's how you make your money. But it speaks to this bigger problem of time is money. And I think that's part of that, downplay the hustle part. And I tell you, when I talk to people, most people are so busy that they're not thinking right now about, well, I know I need to do something to make some more money. I got to make some sort of change, because what I'm doing is not getting me. It's not necessarily that they're not making enough money, but maybe they're not reaching what they're looking for. They're looking for something a little different, a little extra, or an opportunity for more, and they're not able to pull it all together, because running another business, if it's a conventional kind of business, is hard. And who has the expertise, let alone some of the crazy things that go on for a lot of the internet type things, or the web based opportunities where the algorithm is in control. I mean, we could talk about all this all night, but I agree with you that um, it's like there's a whole interesting thing that's going on. And I guess I'll say it like this: everybody here listening, hustling harder, that's not the goal.
No.
Right? I mean, that's not what we're all looking for. People are already used to having to hustle to make everything work. They're looking for something smarter.
Yeah, you make a great point, Ken. You think, of a hamster on a wheel, and trying to catch up with that wheel, and running faster isn't going to catch the wheel, right? It's just going to make the wheel go faster, and the hamster has to run faster, and this continuous cycle. And you mentioned the word, and I think the word that you mentioned is perfectly correct. When you look at this independence equation again, it's that control, right? People, I think more than ever, are feeling out of control, and they're looking for that control, either through well, I don't want to have to come to work 5 days a week, or I want to work from home, or I want to, do this side hustle because it sounds good, until you realize just how hard the hustle is, and the opportunities that afford you independence with control, I think are so few and far between, that's what makes this business. And we'll kind of, I guess, transition at this point, like, into what this business is. But
Yeah,
that's really what makes this different.
I would agree. I would agree.
Yeah, and the best on your terms business, in our opinion, is like we've been talking about, work from anywhere, low risk. Look, when we got started in this, Ken, we didn't have a ton of money to throw into something with the possibility of losing it all.
We still don't.
Yeah.
I,
That's the thing. Like
I can relate.
yeah, I mean, and that's most people today, right? They don't want to have to throw a lot of money into something, and that's a ton of risk. So, and trading hours for dollars, that's a big one, right? We want to be in control of and be able to leverage our time, and sorry, it's not clicking. And that's what we want. We want control. We get control by having all those things. And then we just, we're just thinking here, like Ken, you and Pete just talked about, hustle harder or live on your terms. What would you rather do?
What's funny for Jen and I, of course, this is kind of a silly question. If you're on here tonight, chances are you are thinking about living on your own terms, or you would have already left the meeting, right? But the longer you have an opportunity to live life a little differently, And I loved what you said, Pete, about um, the hamster on the wheel, right? The hamster runs faster and the wheel goes faster. You don't actually catch anything, right? You can't get ahead of it. And then of course it's hilarious if if there's more than one hamster in the cage somehow. So one of the hamsters starts doing the circle, like they trip and then they go they do a flip, and then they get launched or something, because that's what life feels like sometimes. And so people are looking today more than ever for a way to get off that wheel and figure out something a little bit different, whether it's changing careers to something completely outside of what they do now because they're just thinking it'll be an escape, or maybe they get some seniority and they can shift positions and do something totally different and just run at a different pace. All of that stuff all of that stuff comes into play. But I think when you think about businesses, right? If you think about, okay, well, what could we do then? What is there? And we talked about all this other stuff, all the things that would be great about a business. I think that's where we got excited about this business, right? Where it is different. Um, and for those that didn't know, that's what we're talking about. The business that supports us is a business called the Amway Corporation, and it is a great company. And while you guys were talking, I was thinking about this. The reason it's so great is because it allows all of us to scale, and that scale is different than what most of us can do when we start something on our own.
Right.
This idea of having access to technology, access to resources, products, all kinds of stuff, right? And it's not to say there aren't other great business opportunities and other great ideas out there. There are great ideas, but what we have found here is unique. It is different.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I completely agree with you. And when Ken, I don't know what happened there. Hold on one sec. Okay. Sorry, we had a little computer glitch. But you're 100% right. I mean, so scalable. We do 99% of everything we do for this business on our phone, right? And who doesn't have a smartphone nowadays? It's there's very low risk. We talked about low risk, and Amway is absolutely incredible. When we look at the products we have, and I'll do a quick demo, not demo, but just my two favorite products. One is Energy Plus Focus from the XS line. This is a great workout supplement. I take 2 of these. This is the first thing I do every morning. I get up about 4:15, so I pop 2 of these every single morning. And then every night, on the opposite end of the spectrum, and Ken, I know you love these, the Sweet Dreams gummies. I'm actually going to take one right now because it's getting about to be bedtime. But the products are amazing. 180-day money-back guarantee, and just so simple and easy to understand for a normal person, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have no background in business, no formal training in business. As I said, we were both exercise and sports science majors. My buddies in college always made fun of me because I was making posters. They were writing 10, 12, 15-page papers, and I was making posters for health and phys ed preparation, right? So, they made fun of me that whole time. And if I can do this business, anybody can.
That's awesome.
Right. And the coolest thing, right? I mean, when I think about Amway, I think of they have our back, right? They do all the stuff that as a business owner, you don't want to have to think about. And, just seeing the 180-day satisfaction guarantee on there, I mean, it's 6 months. You don't like a product, they take it back and refund you. So can't say enough great things.
Yeah. I think what's fun about this business is that somebody might say, okay, so help me understand this. How does this work? What is this all about? Well, you become an independent business owner. So we call ourselves an Amway independent business owner, and you have access to, in essence, these lines that you see right here. You have access to vitamins and supplements, skincare products, energy related products. We have an incredible drink called XS Energy Drink, which is just it is a healthier version of an energy drink that is, I want to be very careful that it's not the correct term to say clean label. It's not, that's not the right term, but it has, B vitamins in it. It has natural fruit juice and some of those things. And it's a cleaner flavor, I would say. Most of the products that you'll try, different flavors. I don't know, they have a dozen different flavors or something like that. There's also regular personal care items, whether you're looking for shampoo or deodorant or shaving products or toothpaste, whatever. And they also have some incredible home products, which is kind of was the original 60 plus years ago product line, which was laundry detergent and cleaning products, things like that. Well, they have all of that stuff. And as a business owner, you're able to tap into those 350 plus products and represent them as your product line. And these are products you can only get with that 180-day satisfaction guarantee, kind of the Amway promise of satisfaction. You can only get them from an independent business owner. And so it's a way to be in business for yourself, have access to product lines. And most of us kind of have our natural tendency, right, of what the products are that we kind of like, that represent who we are as people. And so if one of those lines resonates with you, I think you'd be a perfect fit for a business like this. Because it's not something that you have to say, I'm going to go out and buy all this inventory. You don't have to do that. Like Pete said, you access the inventory from your phone, or your customers do from your website or something like that. But I could go on and on about this. But the bottom line here is what we do is we have products that we can sell to customers. We also use them ourselves, and we can help other people to get into business for themselves, where they can benefit from that same capability of earning money from all of that. And if you start somebody else in a business like this, the way the compensation model works, you benefit when you help other people to become profitable in the business too. And that's where the business changes from, and I guess maybe jump down here, that's where it changes from the trading time for dollars, right? That's what's different about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's so different than the typical transaction, right? When we talk about the ride share, if I do use my vehicle as a ride share, I go and I pick someone up and I take them somewhere and I get whatever percentage of that ride, and that's a transaction and it's done, right? And I traded my time for whatever those dollars were to take person from point A to point B. But in this business model as an IBO with Amway, it's right as it says here, a one-to-many ratio. Customers that love one of these products, they're going to use these. There are 60 gummies in here. You take 1 to 2 a day. Well, I wasn't a math major, but that lasts a month or 2 at max. And what are you going to want? You're going to want more of these, because I know I sleep so much better when I use these. So, not only do you have recurring customers, but people that want to be in control and have a business on their terms as well. So you build a team, and you really, you focus on the relationship, not on the transaction. It's about talking with people and finding what it is they're interested in and what moves them to do something a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about, adding value to people. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get into the long story, but I was promoting this product earlier this week, Immunity Health Twist Tube, and it was the conversation revolved around just sharing some information with people, adding value, not selling a product. I will sell several containers of this, but the conversation was about, it was educating, it was helping them to feel better. And that's what we do. So we have a ton of support here. And that's the key, I think, especially for when we got started and still now. The support that we have both from the the Amway Corporation and through mentorship is second to none. It's not watching a video and, getting your answer there. It's actually talking to people, and that you're learning from other people. And I think that's how we learn best, when someone can actually share with us how to do things, and learning how to get better at doing things. And I think if there's any secret here to this living on your terms that you can take away from tonight, it would be the mentorship. Getting with the person that invited you here, or getting with the person that's mentoring you, because they're the ones that are going to help you move to success quicker. And it says at the bottom there, you win, we win. So this is a team. We're not competitors. We're a team. And for us, that's pretty cool, coming from the sports background.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that is a big thing that's different about this. Most other businesses you get involved in, you're going to be watching some videos, looking through frequently asked questions, maybe getting some tech support through a chat. Good luck if you can get a phone number, because most places don't want to have the budget to cover phone numbers, right? And people, because real live people cost a lot of money for big companies. Look at all the recent layoffs that we've heard about in the tech world. So this is a unique model, and again, it spins back to that whole thing of the what you're saying there. It's the rising tide lifts all boats, and in this model, the whole thing works because you're trying to, everything that you do that you can pour into other people and create, in essence, a replacement of yourself, somebody as good or competent as you are, or with luck better than you. And if they succeed more, you benefit more. And that is a very nice virtuous cycle, right? That is, to me, that's really cool. And it brings us back to what you just threw up there, Pete, revisiting the independence equation, right? If independence is the goal, and I would say a version of independence is what most people are looking for, whether it's a little more financial security, maybe they're looking for a little extra money, maybe they're just looking to diversify their income, maybe they're looking to make sure they don't just have one stream of income coming in, or they're looking for maybe it's just a little bit, or maybe it's a lot. Maybe they're looking to venture into a whole new career at some point. This equation still works, right?
Yeah. And I think you hit the nail on the head there, Ken, just in talking it through. And I think that's really the control we're talking about here. Is that everybody's version of independence can be different, because how you build this business and what you do with the time and the money that's generated is really up to you 100% of the time. There is no one schedule. There's no one way that you have to do this. There's no one line of products, as you talked about. There as many ways as you could think to live your life and build this business, there's a way to do this, right? And that's the total control that comes along with this business model that, we're not very worldly people, but I've never seen anything like it anywhere else. It really does. It's that when you define control, that is control, right? You can define what your independence is and what that is to you, which I think is so cool. Whether it's making an extra couple $100 a month or a whole lot more, it's there. And the folks that are here, obviously they already have the desire for more, or at whatever time it is, 9:30, 9:35, I'd be in bed, right? I get up early. I'd be in bed by now if it wasn't for the desire for more. And, whether it's income or time, it all comes down to having that control and defining what you want out of life.
Yep, totally agree. And I don't know, if I think about, and we've really hit on this already, we don't have to spend much time here, but the risk issue is, I think, what holds most people back when they're thinking of doing something. Sure. And if you think about this business, it costs like $76 to get registered. And if you get registered, what does that come with? It essentially gives you the license to be in business for yourself. There's no purchase requirements. There's no minimum sale requirements in order to stay in business. 100% satisfaction guarantee on the products. And you have access to all of the power of a multi-billion dollar corporation backing you up to do business, like you said, Pete, when you want to do business, what works for your schedule and your life. And, that's pretty incredible. What else could we say? Anything worth commenting on? You think of, Allison, anything we've missed? I don't know that we have. I feel like we've
No, I
piqued
think,
people's interest.
yeah, I think, yeah, we basically hit on everything here. Just take a couple people here on this slide. Look, it doesn't matter. Gabby there on the left is a stay-at-home mom. Carla all the way over on the right there. She runs several other businesses. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are in the spectrum, what you've got going on, whether you work nights, whether you work days, busy, not busy, anybody can take advantage of this opportunity and has the potential to live on their terms. That's the exciting part to Pete and I. It all depends on you. It really does. And back to what we talked about, what Pete just talked about with independence. So no, I think we've pretty much covered everything.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just don't take it from us. Take it from, these other three. Very, very successful. Artemio, I think, started off in the United States making sandwiches in a small little deli in New York, and now he, has hit so many different dreams and is living in Florida and all through this business, right? All through this opportunity. So it really comes down to, you have so many. If you're here tonight, you have at least pieces of that independence equation. It comes down to, are you actually ready to live on your terms? Are you ready to do what it takes to do something different, to get what it is that you're probably not able to get doing your 9 to 5 or your 8 till 4 or whatever your time frame is that you're working. Your option A. What are you going to do different? Because if not, you're in most circumstances. What I found is if you're just stuck in option A, you're on that hamster wheel, right? And you're going to have to get further, you have to run faster. But as you said, Ken, the faster you run, the faster the wheel turns. And at some point you end up, you get flung right off one way or the other. So, if you're ready to get off the wheel, talk to the person that sent you here this evening, that got you the link to this. Come back next week and hear from some other folks. And, I can't recommend this highly enough. So, Ken, we appreciate the time. We appreciate you hosting and, asking us to share this evening, and definitely appreciate this opportunity and your mentorship.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for being willing to have some fun with me this evening and talk a little bit about this from, the two of you, your perspective. I think that you said it all already, Pete. If you're a guest tonight, get back with the person that invited you. Get started. For the cost of tomorrow night, a very nice night out for a single person, or a pretty good night out for two people. Probably not for 3 or 4, but $78 or $76 would be fun. You know what? For $76, I'm not even sure the two of you could take your boys out for pizza and a couple beers or something like that at a local restaurant with a tip. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the craziest thing. So it's again, it speaks to the low risk of getting started. But I would say, get back with the person that invited you tonight. Get going in the business. Check this out. Really do the research. Ask the person that invited you to help you understand how the money works and get some more information about the products. Both of the products that actually all 3 of them that Pete and Allison brought up tonight are fantastic products, and they actually are really effective. So check them out. And hey, thanks again to the two of you and everybody here. Have a wonderful night. We will, as Pete said, we will have another meeting like this next week. Love to see you on. Bring a guest. Come back for a follow-up, check it out. And everybody else, have a wonderful Friday tomorrow and a great weekend. Stay warm if you're up north. And we'll talk to you all soon. Thanks again, Pete and Allison.
Thank
Sure.
you, Ken.
Thank you,
Have a good
Ken.
night,
Have a
everybody.
good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Good night.